How's it going, everybody? And the best is the best that was the best that ever will be. There'll be none before me, there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Kobe, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week, featuring your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw reviews, then a review of NXT Great American Bash, and then we have our SummerSlam 2023 predictions, followed by a drink of the week, followed by a reading from the Book of Rules, and then finally your Battle Droid of the Week. Let's get into the news though, as Vince McMahon is away from WWE currently, as he has taken a leave of absence to have spinal surgery. Vince McMahon has undergone successful surgery, and he was been away from WWE since July, apparently. Apparently, Bruce Pritchard and Triple H have been running WWE creative since. So that kind of explains a little bit of what's been going on with the Triple H era kind of coming back into the fold. Now we need to focus on Vince McMahon maybe coming back soon, but it's uncertain at the time. Hopefully he can recover. We wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he will be back soon. Top stars have re-signed with AEW as the Elite. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Page have re-signed multi-year deals with AEW. There was talks of them going to WWE early on this summer, but apparently that has fallen through. They have signed new contracts with AEW and will be staying there for the foreseeable future. And finally, Roman Reigns has been dethroned as WWE's top merch seller. The new merch seller is L.A. Knight. Yeah! LA Knight has taken over Roman Reigns' spot as the number one merch seller. Hopefully this will lead to bigger and better things for WWE. Once The Fiend became the number one merch seller in WWE, he actually became Universal Champion. So usually they listen to the people who are selling merch, such as Cody Rhodes, The Fiend, Roman Reigns. Everyone has become top sellers. So now, maybe it will be LA Knight. Yeah. But that is the news this week, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be an action-packed week. We got SummerSlam coming up, and let's go into SmackDown, baby. Yeah. SmackDown kicked off with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns meeting for a war of words. Roman Reigns says, "You broke our family, you broke the bloodline, you broke Jimmy, it's all your fault." And he goes, "What makes you think you can beat me now?" And Jey Uso just had the line, "I already beat you. I can easily do it again." They basically shook hands, and you know what? They're testing it out. I wish there was more of a WWE feuds that just were hey, this is just a feud out of respect, man. I just want to see if I can still fight. I think Lucha Underground had the best version of that, so I really want to see more of those kind of feuds. Just my opinion. We then get Grayson Waller backstage. Grayson challenged Jay to a match later on. Jay accepted. We then get your number one contenders match. And unfortunately, this match would be ended earlier, as you would have Rey Mysterio get injured during the match. Apparently, he would take a concussion. They said it was during the suicide dive, but apparently it was earlier than that. In the match, Rey Mysterio would get up from a spot feeling dizzy and would have Santos hit the suicide dive to make it look like that was the injury spot. And Rey Mysterio is now unfortunately injured with a concussion. We wish him a speedy recovery here at Wrestling Made Simple. So it's official. It will be Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar 2 weeks from now. I thought they would put that on SummerSlam. That would have been a good SummerSlam match. We then get Bianca Belair getting a backstage interview when the tag team champions Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green mocked her for not being champion anymore. Charlotte Flair appeared in and offered to team up with Bianca to take care of them. Well, it was official. We will get this match later on tonight. Yay. We then get Hit Row coming out to make fun of New Orleans. You had Top Dollar say making fun of New Orleans, he only needs 2 words, Roll Tide. That was actually very funny, so bravo to him. And then you get LA Knight coming out, and he actually says they look angry, but the real is, the way B-Fab's looking at me, you can tell she's horny. Yeah. Man, LA Knight's a killer on the mic. This guy is so over, they need to give him a title soon. Whether it's a United States title or a main event title, he needs something. We then get LA Knight versus Ashante 3 Adonis. This was a very good win for LA Knight. He actually hit... I forget what it's called. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's, I believe... I can't remember his finisher's name. It's bugging me right now. I'll remember it later after this. And watch, I'll just be sitting here playing God of War, and I'll be like, God damn it, that's the name of it. We then get a backstage interview where Bobby Lashley told the Street Profits they are stars and they should dress like stars. Lashley then gave them a line of new suits. So apparently they will be called the Suit Profits from now on, I believe is what they will be called. We then get probably the worst match of the week of Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair versus the women's tag team champions. They were able to pick up the win and just basically bury the women's tag team champions. Good job for them, as they were trying to build for women's tag team titles meaning something again. And this is what you do. Good job. We then get a battle royal announced for SummerSlam. Apparently, LA Knight will be a part of it, and Sheamus will be as well. Yeah, it was made official. Knight and Sheamus will be battling. The winner will be entering the Battle Royal. We then get Karrion Kross versus Carl Anderson in a throwaway match to build up the feud with AJ Styles. I feel bad for Anderson and Gallows, man. I feel like they came back to WWE and they thought they'd be more. So I feel like they kind of are getting thrown to the wolves. Karrion Kross was able to pick up the win and hit a new finisher, the Final Prayer. It's kind of a power slam meets a big ending, kind of. I really don't know how to describe it. It's a weird one. And it just takes a long time to set up. I think it was just Karrion Kross just building a lot of things and just like, hey, let's just put this move. Let's just see if I could do it. And once he did, he's like, okay, I guess I'll just call it my new finisher. We then get your main event of Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller. Good match. Jey Uso was able to pick up the win. I really like Grayson Waller's work since coming to the main roster. Jey Uso would pick up the win. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman came out and were watching the match. After the match ended, Solo attacked Joe and went for a Samoan spike, but Jey hit a super kick. Roman tried to attack Jey, but Jey nailed a spear on Roman. And then Solo hit... But Solo then attacked Jey and delivered an Uranagi. I don't know why I wrote that weird. Roman and Jey then hit their team finisher, which they call the Spear Spike, on Jey 3 times in a row. Roman ended the show by posing with his title. By the way, I also want to point out Roman only came out with 1 title today compared to his usual 3. I actually really like that. I think it's a way better look. Just my opinion. It was a good SmackDown. Not great. Let's see what the Raw Go Home show brought for us. As Raw kicked off with Logan Paul and Ricochet having a face-to-face. Logan said he will pay at SummerSlam for the hard beating, and then called out Samantha Irving, who is Ricochet's fiance, and declares him the winner. And basically said, how's it going to feel to have your girl saying my name? This led to a brawl, which ended with Logan standing tall. This is actually making me excited for SummerSlam. This match is... I'm very excited for this to be on the card. We then get Ludwig Kaiser and Matt Riddle in a good match. Ludwig Kaiser was able to pick up the win over Riddle. Apparently, the reason for this is WWE has decided to stop pushing Riddle because of all the times Matt Riddle has basically screwed them over. The guy has, unfortunately, his personal life has taken over everything. Again, I'm not going to make fun of him for it. The guy has had drug issues in the past, and hopefully he can overcome that. The guy has had his personal issues of women in his past, and it sucks. I'm sorry to hear this. I hope Matt Riddle can overcome his demons and become a great wrestler, and maybe he'll work his way back into the main event one day. But until then, we'll never know. We then get Maxine Dupri in her first ever match versus Valhalla. Good match, actually. This match was actually fun. There wasn't too many botches for a first match. You can tell Maxine Dupri has been really working on it. People were saying, like, a couple, even wrestlers were saying, like, oh, I got thrown to the wayside for someone who the crowd likes. Yeah, that's wrestling, idiot. People are like, oh, it's just because she's hot. No, it's because she actually has a personality that bonds with the crowd. People like her. They actually like cheering for her. She's become a great face. And she's actually has some talent in the ring. She's clearly been working on herself, so I'll never get why people are pissed off that someone actually did something and got over and worked on themselves and actually wrestled and actually fought hard to get to where they are. I'll never understand that. And you know what? Maxine Dupri, great job, great match. Maxine picks up the win in a roll-up. So I usually hate that, but for this one, it kind of worked. And you know what? It might continue a feud for SummerSlam for him. We think it's Shinsuke Nakamura and Tommaso Ciampa announcing that they are entering the SummerSlam Battle Royal, which will be sponsored by Slim Jim. I forgot to say that. So Slim Jim is back with WWE. I love that. We then get Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler announcing that their match at SummerSlam will now be an MMA rules match. I have no clue what that means, but I'm sure we'll figure it out before SummerSlam. We then get Rhea Ripley getting into a brawl with Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea then targeting Raquel's injured knee. Apparently this will be a match announced for SummerSlam, maybe on SmackDown or sometime. I really hope they do announce that, because I feel like SummerSlam needs 10 matches, and I feel like that would make it perfect, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I feel like 10 matches would be a nice round card, and we could see how people get back into the double-digit pay-per-view. Because, I mean, there used to be 12 to 14 matches on the card, and then they decided, alright, let's slim it down a little. AEW started doing more matches. Impact started doing more. So maybe WWE's got to add more back on and make them double-digit pay-per-views again. I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it at all. We think it's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tommaso Ciampa in a great match. I'm excited for this feud here. This is a feud I could easily see moving into the main event somehow. These two are amazing performers, and I really look forward to this feud. Shinsuke Nakamura would pick up the win over Tommaso Ciampa, but I could easily see this be a multi-month feud. We then get Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes to turn. Apparently they were going to shake hands. They were ready to go. Cody shook Brock's hand, and then Brock hit Cody with an F5. I don't know if there's going to be a stipulation added to this match. It's unlikely now, but I would like to see a stipulation added to this match. We then get Chad Gable going against Gunther in a 5-minute challenge, and Chad Gable actually picks up the win. This is the first time that Gunther has actually lost in a long time. Chad Gable picks up the win in a 5-minute challenge. Then you would have Gunther say he wants the match restarted. It would be restarted. Gunther would defeat Chad Gable, but Chad Gable looking like a certified star here. Looking like the guy, this is the way they should have pushed him. If they had gotten rid of that Shorty G name, Chad Gable would have been a main eventer when he had his singles run. Guaranteed. He had the ability to. He is an amazing wrestler, a former Olympian. This guy could be the next Kurt Angle. Mark my words. We then get Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. I know, right? Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus will last 2 seconds before Zoe Starks would come in and interfere, cause the DQ. So Becky Lynch would technically pick up the win. And then we get Adam Pearce announcing in 2 weeks they would face each other again, and Zoe Starks would be banned from ringside. Why the fuck? Why the fuck would that happen? Why wouldn't you have that match at SummerSlam? very real question here. A very real question. We think Adam Pearce telling Raquel Rodriguez she has a match with the Women's World Champion if she can get cleared. I imagine that will happen at SummerSlam, and that will be your match. We then get the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Undisputed Tag Team Champion Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and NXT North American Champion Dominic Mysterio. Great match. It was actually fun. And you actually had Finn Balor get involved. It looked like for a second Damian Priest was going to cash in. You actually had Finn Balor take a second to hand him the briefcase as he was like, should I do it? Okay, here you go, Damian, go. Damian would go to hand the ref the briefcase. Seth Rollins would then kick the briefcase into Damian Priest's face. Hit a stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn pull out the win. Great Raw. Really good go-home show. I'm so excited for SummerSlam. Even my dad said, listening to the podcast and everything, he goes, you're really excited for this. I mean, this is going to be this actually sounds like a good card. And he's not even a wrestling fan. And I was like, yeah, he goes, I actually looked up tickets. If it wasn't in Detroit, you might have been going. And I'm like, oh, God, Detroit. The only reason I would go to Detroit, and it's no knack on anyone who lives in Detroit. Detroit's a good city. The only reason I would go is because my mother's a Lions fan. And I would love to take her and let her see Ford Field. That would be the main reason I would go. And, of course, SummerSlam. Woo! But let's move on to NXT Great American Bash. Happened on Saturday. And this was actually a good show. It wasn't great. And the main event is getting praise that I feel it doesn't deserve. I just want that to be said. It kicked off with a 8-person mixed tag team match of Nathan Frazier, Yalisha Leone, Valentina Feroz, and Dragon Lee versus the Metaphor of Noam Dar, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Oro Mensah. I can never say her name right. Oro Mensah. Oh, God damn, that's a name. Oliver Carter, his real name. Just want to say that. I'll say Oliver Carter. Fuck it. Anyway, this was a 10-minute, 8-person tag team match. Really took up time on the pre-show, and it actually makes me wish that there were more matches on the kickoff show. I liked it when they would have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the WrestleMania kickoff show. Same with the women's. And I feel they should put those back on the kickoff shows. You have 2 nights. One on night 1, one on night 2. Very simple. Anyway, Nathan Frazier's team was able to pick up the win. Good match. Nothing to write home about for this match. Good kickoff show match. We then get the Family versus Gallus for the NXT Tag Team Champions. Gallus going in as your NXT Tag Team Champions. I thought there was no way they were losing it. You would actually have Joe Coffey get involved and actually almost cost the Family the match. I was shocked by this. The Family picked up the win. This was unbelievable to me. I did not see this coming. The Family of Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. I thought they were going to a main roster. I've heard talks about it. I definitely didn't think this was happening. We then get Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport in a Weapons Wild match. Yeah, this was just all weapons are legal. Whatever goes, goes. Unbelievable match. Hard fought. I just wish there was just a little blood. Just a little blood. If they could bust someone open, it would have been perfect. Roxanne Perez would pick up the win in this match. We then get Gable Steveson making his NXT WWE debut against Baron Corbin. Just kidding. Baron Corbin in a 6-minute match. This match was probably the downer of the night as it was just a double countout. I wish there was more to it that I could go into. Gable Steveson looked alright. Clearly needs some work, and it shows he's been working on it. But I wonder how much of it was Baron Corbin and how much of it was him. Just my opinion. Again, double count out, no victor. We then get Dirty Dominic Mysterio defending his title against Wes Lee and Mustafa Ali. Great match. Actually, I truly hold that this was the match of the night. And I know I'm going to get some shit about that for the main event. But I love how Dominic Mysterio has been working on himself. I love how it's showing that he is working on his in-ring style, his character. He's a great heel. And him winning this match was awesome. Rhea Ripley would get involved. I actually like this. Dominic Mysterio retains the title. We then get Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hall in a submissions match for the NXT Women's Championship. A good match, nothing great. A little bit of botches. Tiffany Stratton, I just don't like her in the ring, man. She good character, but not a good wrestler. Tiffany Stratton would pick up the win after locking in the half Boston Crab on Thea Hall, and you would have Andre Chase throw in the towel. It looks like Duke Hudson is ready to leave Chase University after this match. I would have loved to see a new NXT Women's Champion here, but I understand why not. Tiffany Stratton is apparently a moneymaker for WWE. So, we then get Carmelo Hayes defending his title against Isha Dragunov. And people are saying should be the match of the year. I don't see it. I think they're hooked up on one spot. So Carmelo Hayes would defend his title successfully. Didn't like the ending of Trick Williams getting involved. Trick Williams shouldn't have gotten involved. You should have had Carmelo Hayes say, hey, no, stay in the back. I want to do this myself. That would have made this match the match of the year, in my opinion. It would have made this match at least a controversial entry in it. But everybody's hooked up on the spot where you basically had Dragunov go to the top rope, go to hit a coast to coast where you jump from one side of the ring to the other onto your opponent. It was alright. You had Carmelo Hayes hit a super kick and basically knock Dragunov the hell out. And that's the spot everybody's focused on. Spots are spots. There should be a Spot of the Year award. There should be. This is not the match of the year, though. Good match. Maybe 3.5 to 4 5 stars if I were to do a star rating. But not match of the year. Definitely not match of the year. It's everybody's hooked up on that one spot. If I were to rate NXT Great American Bash, B minus. Good show. Serviceable show. Tells a couple stories. But nothing that blew your socks off. Besides that one spot. And Dirty Dom. Main roster people on NXT is working. They're starting to get up to the million count. And if they could get up to 1 million viewers, they should be very proud of what they're doing. Whew. Alrighty, let's move on to SummerSlam 2023, coming from Ford Field. Here are my predictions for the show. You have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes is going over. If he doesn't beat Brock Lesnar, then he is nowhere near the main event. I think Cody Rhodes will win and then go on the feud with a returning Bray Wyatt, who will make himself known after the match. We then get Seth friggin' Rollins versus Finn Balor in a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth friggin' Rollins is going to win. You're going to have the Judgment Day disband. Asuka versus Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is going to turn heel in this match, but Asuka will somehow retain her title. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in a tribal combat match. Roman Reigns is going to win. It's going to be a good match, but here's my prediction. Damian Priest is going to cash in and win the title. Watch, this is going to be unbelievable, I swear to God. If that does happen, then I will change my prediction of Seth Rollins will lose the title, and you will have the Judgment Day hold all the gold in WWE. We then get Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. Gunther's going to retain his title. There's no way in hell he loses it. No way. Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Ricochet is going to pick up the win here. By the way, the reason I say Gunther retaining his title is for one reason. If Gunther, I truly believe, is going to break the Honky Tonk Man's record. Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler in an MMA rules match. Shayna Baszler is going to pick up the win. I completely believe that. Shayna Baszler is going to pick up the win, and this is supposed to be Ronda Rousey's last match. So, I think she'll do the job for her friend and propel Shayna Baszler back into the main event slot. The SummerSlam Battle Royal, LA Knight's going to win this match. No question. Apparently there's going to be also a Grayson Waller effect where The Rock might show up. If that happens, then The Rock's going to interfere in Roman Reigns' match and set up for WrestleMania 40. Also, I think there will be a women's match added to this card of Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez, and Rhea Ripley will retain. I'm trying to think if there are other matches. There might be another match added to the card later on. But that's how I feel it going. That's how I feel SummerSlam going. And you know what? After all that, I could use a drink. How about a Blue Russian, ladies and gentlemen? 2 ounces Blue Curacao, 2 ounces vodka, 1 ounce light cream, and a cherry. Add ice cubes to a martini glass, pour the Blue Curacao into the base, follow with vodka, float the cream on top of the mix, add your cherry. Please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not overconsume on alcohol, and do not indulge in alcohol if you are under 21 in the United States or under the legal age wherever you are listening. Now we're reading from the Book of Rules. A steel cage match. No disqualification. Win by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage with both feet touching the floor. In a tag team cage match, tornado rules apply. 1 fall for multi-man matches. A reading from the Book of Rules. And now, everybody, it is time for the Boutroid of the Week! The Boutroid of the Week is simple for me. It is the women's tag team titles. Not the people holding the titles. The women's tag team titles. They really do not push them well. They do not make them look well. They look strong when it was Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey holding the titles, just because it was Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. But they never make them look. They never book them right. They book the NXT women's titles wrong. They've been booking the main roster titles wrong. These belts are, whenever they're held, they're either held for a record-setting championship where no one defends them, or they're defended every 2 weeks, and they lose them in their second defense. So because of that, the women's tag team titles are my Boutroid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I've been the Big Guy. Next week will be our SummerSlam review, followed by a review of Payback 2017. That is right, Payback 2017, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in the main event. It was, to me, an awesome pay-per-view. I really did love it. It's truly one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. So, it was truly one of my favorite I've ever watched live, at least. So, you know what? Always one that I will cherish in my heart. Thank you very much for listening. I've been the Big Guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Have a great week in wrestling and enjoy SummerSlam this weekend. I know I will be, if the weather permits. I will be having a barbecue and setting up my screen in the backyard for a giant projection show. Have a good one.